Good evening, Yorktown, and welcome to the September 6th Town Board meeting. I want to wish everyone a happy Labor Day and happy first day of school. If everyone could please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we can bow our heads in prayer as we give thanks for this day, and we give thanks for living in a country that allows us to gather to deliberate on important matters like we are today. If we can please keep in our thoughts and prayers Chief Jim Morgan, former chief of the Yorktown Police Department, whose funeral was earlier today. Chief Morgan was a staple of this community. His family still resides in this community. We want to keep in our thoughts and prayers his wife Joanne, his son Jim, and his grandchildren. Chief Morgan was in the United States Army from 1958 to 1960 and spent 34 years protecting the town of Yorktown. He was a staple of the Yorktown Elks and was involved in numerous organizations here throughout our community. And tonight we say a special prayer for him and his family on his passing. If we can also keep in our thoughts and prayers all of our police officers, all of our first responders, our firefighters and EMTs. We say a special prayer this week for our teachers who have returned back to school and our students, as well as, of course, the staff and the administrations of both the Yorktown, Lakeland, and we also have Ossining and Croton school districts here in the town of Yorktown. And last but not least, as always, let's keep in our thoughts and prayers the bravest men and women the world has ever known, those defending our freedoms overseas and here at home, serving in the United States military. Thank you. Amen. Start with introductions.
Good evening, Diana Quast, Town Clerk.
Good evening, Tom Diana, Deputy Supervisor, Councilman.
Matt Slater, Town Supervisor.
Ed Lachterman, Councilman.
Councilman Sergio Esposito.
Luciana Howitt, Councilwoman.
Dave Paganelli, Superintendent of Highways.
Adam Rodriguez, Town Attorney.
And virtually our Town Attorney, Adam Rodriguez. It's great to see him. And it's great to see everyone back here at Town Hall after our little summer recess. We will go to reports to the town. Again, school's back in session here in Yorktown, so please, especially during the morning and afternoon hours, please drive carefully. I know that it was a bit hectic this morning. Lakeland started last week. Yorktown started today. We want to wish, again, everyone a very successful school year. All of our students, all of our faculty, staff, teachers, administrators, they always do a great job. But when you're driving through the town, again, especially during the morning hours or afternoon hours, keep in mind kids are going to be out again. They're going to be out at the bus stops. The buses are going to be out. So I know people have places to go and things to do, but maybe let's just take a breath and have a little patience as we get reacclimated with the fall season here. I want to address the garbage contract. We've been dealing with this for quite a bit, and I do want to thank our staff, our foreman of our refuse and recycling department and his staff. I want to thank our legal department for their assistance as well. You know, the garbage contract is up at the end of the year, and this is an important issue right now for our community. So we've put it out to bid originally for garbage pickup twice a week and recycling pickup once a week. We only received one bid back, and so as is normal operating procedure, that bid was rejected, and we went back out for a second time. The second bid for, again, twice garbage pickup, one recycling, came back double what our current contract is. That is a significant increase for the town and for our homeowners. The town board wanted to explore some potential cost savings, so we did put out another bid that reduced the garbage pickup from twice a week to once a week. Fact of the matter is, we did not see the cost savings that we had thought we would see. In fact, one bid was actually higher than twice pickup, so it really didn't make much sense to us. So the town board has rejected all those bids. We've sharpened our pencils. We've been working with our staff, with our legal department again, and we are trying to devise what we think is a more cost-efficient bid that we're going to be authorizing tonight to go out in hopes of getting some better numbers. That's where we're at with the garbage contract. That increase would have been and may still be significant. We did examine in-housing the garbage. We had a study done previously on that. Fact of the matter is, and our highway superintendent can attest to this, as can our police chief, when you're talking about obtaining new vehicles, especially heavy trucks, you either have to fly to Chicago,
Those are small trucks.
as our highway superintendent did, or you have to wait upwards of a year. And so we simply just don't have the equipment nor the manpower right now to take it on ourselves. So we're really stuck in a position here that leaves us few options, but we're trying our best to come up with the best solutions, because at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we're protecting our taxpayers and we're doing everything we can that if there is going to be an increase due to the contract, and again, that contract is one that we put out and we follow all the laws on, that we've looked at every possible scenario, that we've turned over every rock, and that we've done everything we can to protect local taxpayers. We recognize the state of the economy right now is not great, and so we feel it's our obligation, again, to go 10, 16 rounds in a match to get the best for our taxpayers. That's what we're trying to do. And I really want to thank the town board for their patience on this. I really want to thank Phil Marino, our refuse foreman, for his great insight on this. I'd like to thank Diana Quas, our clerk, for her assistance, and of course our legal team, Adam Rodriguez, as well. So we will see what the next bid brings us. If you look at some of the other towns that are in the same position as us, every town that's gone out to bid, with the exception of Mount Pleasant, because they had a 5-year contract, they've seen significant increases in the last several years. Again, a reflection of the state of the economy we're in, a reflection of the supply chain issues, a reflection of the cost of fuel, a reflection of the cost of parts, a reflection of all the things that we're seeing every day in our own homes. But I just want to reassure the residents of Yorktown that we are doing everything in our power to be as cognizant as we can and to provide the best services without really breaking the bank on the tax side. We did get an update on fluoride. Excuse me. The subcontractor did come back to correct the internal process piping. Their next step is a pre-test, and then the health department inspection will take place. We're still optimistic that this pre-test will be completed in the next 10 to 14 days, and then the health department inspection can be brought in, assuming the pre-test goes as planned. Our town engineer and the town board are working with DEC to obtain the necessary permitting for us to address a significant erosion concern at the Shrub Oak Park. I want to thank Councilman Diana, who's been helpful on this. The erosion, if you go where the Slavin pool is, when you cross the bridge, you'll see that the bank's eroded significantly, and it's actually starting to impact the sidewalk. So we need permission from DEC and the proper permitting in order for us to correct it and provide some mitigation. I know Councilwoman Howitt's been working with the Parks and Rec Commission on this, and Jim Moderano, our Parks and Rec Superintendent, has been cognizant of this as well. We were hoping to get through the pool season, which just concluded, and so now we believe we're in the right time for us to finally correct and repair this portion of the park, which is great news. Excuse me. The roof replacement at the Albert A. Cappellini Community and Cultural Center is set to begin tomorrow, so please pardon our appearance. We're going to be under some construction. So again, be cognizant of that if you're visiting any of our departments over at the Cappellini Center or using it for any of the services that are provided there. But this is an important first step to a significant investment in the Cappellini Center, and we hope that the next investment will be the stage seats. Our library has been approved officially as a passport processing center, and beginning September 13th, they can begin taking appointments for those wishing to get a passport. You can call for an appointment to 914-245-5262. I really want to applaud Yvonne Check, our library director. She is just a rock star. Came up with this great idea that she saw in some of the other libraries that she's visited, and I really think it is a terrific, just an absolutely terrific service for us to provide here locally, and I want to thank her personally for her great efforts. It is National Library Card Sign-Up Month, so be on the lookout for some of the events and giveaways at the library. but I really want to emphasize how lucky we are to have the John C. Hart Memorial Library. The statistics are in for August. I got this text message about a half hour ago from Yvonne, and we are the top circulating library in all of Westchester County for the month of August. That is awesome. Yeah, that deserves a big round of applause. Absolutely. And as Yvonne texted me, this means we were physically the busiest library, lending 25,543 physical items last month. That beats White Plains, Yonkers, and all 38 other libraries. The electronic circulation numbers aren't in yet, so the total is actually going to increase. But that is spectacular work done by the staff of the John C. Hart Memorial Library. So if you don't have your library card, you're missing out because they have so many great resources, such a great selection, and it continues to grow. They are just such an important part of our community, and they're doing a great job. So if you don't have your library card, head on over to the John C. Hart Memorial Library up on East Main in Shrub Oak and make sure that you get one. Just a few other announcements. School taxes, the bills have been sent out. The drop box that was in the front of Town Hall, as a reminder, has been relocated to the back of Town Hall at the back entrance, so you don't have to even come in. You can just put in your payment in the drop box, and our staff will collect it and process it for you. Or, of course, you can visit the website, yorktownny.org. You can pay them online. And, of course, you can always come see our staff, and they're happy to process your payments. Section 8 office has reported that there have been 4 new vouchers approved by HUD. So if those who are in need, please contact our Section 8 office, doing a great job there. Earlier today, the town board joined Robert and Rick Reichenbach of Bird Bus. They have announced that they have finally closed and are moving ahead with their transformation of the long-vacated Kia dealership on Route 202. This is a terrific investment for the town of Yorktown. Bird Bus is one of the leading school bus dealerships in the entire state, and they are the state's #1 electric vehicle school bus dealer. And they are just fantastic. We're thrilled to have them. The Kia dealership's been empty for about 5.5, nearly 6 years, right on 202. And so they expect to have their service center operational by the end of October and have their entire facility ready to go by the end of the year. And so we welcome them to Yorktown. We thank them for their investment, and we're excited to have them. They're generating already more than 40 local jobs, right, construction jobs right here in Yorktown, and then they're going to be transitioning, obviously, over to their mechanics and their full-time staff. Last but not least, we have a lot of events in Yorktown over the next 8 weeks. A lot of events. We're going to start with 9/11. Which is the 21st anniversary this weekend. We will be recognizing and remembering those we've lost on that fateful day. We're going to begin tomorrow here at Town Hall at 4 p.m. We are going to invite the youth of our community for the planting of the flag garden, something we started last year to recognize the 20th anniversary. We actually plant one American flag in the front for every life that was lost that day. And so it's really one of those living history moments for the youth of our community who obviously weren't alive to witness or experience the tragedy of that day. This year, we're also going to be welcoming a 9/11 first responder, someone who lives in the community, and he's going to say a few words and talk with the kids about his experience down on the pile of 9/11. So that's weather permitting, I'll say, because all of a sudden it's decided to rain. But weather permitting, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, Wednesday would be the 7th, right here, 4 p.m. at Town Hall. All the youth of Yorktown are welcome. Then on September 11th itself, we will do our traditional 9/11 ceremony at the 9/11 monument up in Shrub Oak, outside of the John C. Hart Memorial Library. That'll be Sunday, September 11th at 4 p.m. And then, again, thanks to a wonderful Yorktown resident, we started the Beams of Light a couple of years back up at Granite Knolls, and so we will once again, thankfully, be having the Beams of Light return, and that will be another ceremony September 11th at 8 p.m. up at Granite Knolls. And so please mark your calendars, and may we never forget the awful day of 9/11 and maybe teach and continue to teach the youth of our community the importance of the day and why we spend so much time remembering it. And that concludes my report to the town. So I will turn it over to Councilman Tom Diana, and off you go.
Thank you, Supervisor. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had a great summer. It was a hot one. At this point in time, we're finally getting a little bit of rain. But it's going to have to rain a few more days before we get caught up on anything. As the supervisor said, school's open, so please take that extra few minutes. Leave a few minutes earlier. The kids are out there. They're crossing streets. They're not awake yet. So give them a break. Let them get across the streets. Watch your school crossing zones and so forth. Especially the high school kids. They're kind of a little zombified in the morning when I watch them cross by Lakeland High School. But please, drive carefully.
You know who wasn't zombified? My son, Charlie.
Oh, no, he was bouncing.
Charlie was up at 10:30 last night asking to get dressed for school for the second grade.
He wanted to be ready. He wanted to be ready, Supervisor. That's all
He
it
was ready. He was ready to roll.
That'll change.
That'll change.
Words out of my
That'll
mouth.
change.
Tommy,
Time.
if I may also, please do not pass a stopped school bus with
Yes.
the
Right.
stop sign.
It's not a
Right.
I
suggestion.
see it all the time, and very dangerous.
Yeah, please be careful out there. We're not used to seeing the buses on the road from our respite this summer of not having any on the road. So seeing them out there now is not normal, right, Kevin? It's you get him out onto the street almost every day, and he's got to let him out of Lakeland High School there. So it's something that we have to deal with now until next June. I want to thank the Lions Club and Ed Lachterman for a great concert series. Second to none. They work very hard. All the volunteers, everybody that comes out, the bands. The last one was really a great one with a military tribute with Alyssa Martin singing. She did a great job. Unfortunately, due to the drought situation that we were in, we could not have fireworks. And we erred on the way of caution not to have them for fear that there'd be a ignition somewhere, and nobody wanted to get the blame for that. Supervisor had talked about the library. I don't know. I was over there one night. I had a meeting with Yvonne. I could not believe the flurry of activity that goes on there. I live in Shrub Oak, and I always see the parking lot filled. But until you actually walk through the front doors and take a look inside to see what goes on in there and how they have it petitioned off for just children reading and so on and so forth, it's really amazing, and she does a wonderful job. And coming soon to a community near you, we're going to have some cement relining of our water pipes. So be wary of that. They'll be working on Strawberry Road and Hanover Street to clean the calcification that comes out and reline them with cement. And as any of you that were up in the area of Maple Hill Street, there we had a water main break that was a pretty good one. We're still trying to track down why it happened, and we just had another one down on Wildwood Street. Yeah. So just be cognizant the guys are out there. And Dave, for all your guys do with this drainage, with this rain we're finally getting, they're all out there. Give all our workers a break, okay? When you see them working on the side of the road, slow down. That's the biggest help you can give them. That's all I got.
Great.
Thank you.
Councilman Lachterman?
Sure. Well, Tommy, thank you on the concerts. I defer to all the Lions on everything they did. And Alyssa Martin was great. We actually had people, Alyssa does like a 1940s style show in period dress, and I had people swearing that she was lip syncing. But she's just phenomenal. She's really great show. And if you want to keep up the entertainment, Yorktown's always good for that. We have the Grange Fair. It starts on the 9th, which is this coming Friday, runs through the 11th. And then, of course, the next week we have the San Gennaro Festival coming in. But just for the Grange Fair, a couple of highlights. Of course, you have your food, your competitions, your beer. They have rides for the kids and live music every day. Pretty nice lineup this year. But a big attraction, but also could be a little bit of a traffic snarl. Remember, the tractor parade is Saturday the 10th at 11 a.m., and that will run. They come out from behind the firehouse onto Veterans, and then come around and go up to the Grange. So it is a little bit of a traffic snarl. Some of those vehicles, if it's moving at 3 miles an hour, that's a nice clip for some of the antique tractors. So just be aware of that. And anyone with a antique car or tractor that wants to get involved, please contact the Grange. It's always a fun thing. That's
Great.
pretty much it for me.
Thank you, sir.
Gosh. I'm really glad to be back. There's something exciting about us now having to wrap up the summer on the 21st and lead on. Since my council teammates over here, this wonderful town board, are going to get you up on all of our events, I just want to remind everyone that we're all embarking on a little bit of change, whether it's change in routine, change in seasons, change in, remembrance, or just getting busier, maybe even a little slower, depending on how our summers went. And just to be kind to ourselves and our neighbors and really look out for one another, because this is probably one of the most hectic times in people's lives. It's hard to go back into fall and start shedding. So my note as a town councilwoman is to, slow down, enjoy the shift, know that we're all changing and we're all coming back into these seats, and we hear you, we see you, and hopefully we have the fall all the way up to the winter to wrap up some new things before we start a new year. So that's all.
Well, I'm glad to be back too, and it's nice to see a lot of familiar faces. I bumped into a few of you at Uncle Giuseppe's. You guys were there shopping, I saw. But I just want to take you down memory lane quick. Today, as you heard, we announced we had a presser for Bird Bus. They're a gigantic company. They make all types of buses. They are leading the charge, so to speak, no pun, with EV buses. And I had a lot of questions about that with them. And they said they get a full charge on a bus in about 3 hours. It's a quick charge. So it's kind of like an EV car. I found that interesting. I figured it was going to be a lot longer. But they also make traditional buses, and they have conversion techniques to get us to EV buses in the future when it becomes law. The concert series ended, and although Ed won't take any credit for him, I'll give him all the credit because he did a fantastic job. He was an excellent host. Right? He did a great job. Uncle G's, we saw the opening of Uncle G's, Uncle Giuseppe's. Again, it's a 55,000 square feet, one of their biggest their biggest location. And we are proud to have them there and actually honored. Piper expanded in the month of August, and I think they doubled their capacity. They put outdoor turf. They have an indoor turf. They really did a fantastic job there. We saw Aiden Michael Larrabee become an Eagle Scout. We saw V-Blue Tushai Shaw, probably messed that up, become an Eagle Scout. And we were also awarded the Bronze Certified Climate Smart Community Award, which was, I think, a pretty big thing. So it's a pretty busy month for Yorktown, as is always, and things continue to move in the right direction. On the horizon, as the supervisor stated, we have the Flag Garden. That's tomorrow, correct? What time again?
Yes, sir. 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. The Yorktown Elks has their 9/11 ceremony right in front. That's at 8 a.m. It starts at 8 a.m. On 9/11. We have the ceremony at the 9/11 Memorial. The Grange Fair is going to be between the 9th and the 11th. Yes, the big answer, I think everybody heard it now, to the big question is the San Gennaro Feast is on and coming back, and the procession will be on that Wednesday. It's from the 14th to the 18th. September 17th is Mohegan Fire Department's 100th anniversary, right, Tommy?
Yes.
That's going to be a really nice. I think they're having a parade.
They are.
One thing that I really want to speak about is the Cops versus the Kids baseball fundraiser. I'm a big fan of that. I've been doing that for several years. This, I think, is going to be our 6th anniversary. We had to miss a year, of course. That is going to be September 24th. We are having Shane Spencer from the Yankees come to sign some autographs. The Yorktown PD has gracefully accepted the challenge from the YAC 12U Heat. It's going to be interesting. There'll be food there. All the money is going to go toward children with life-threatening diseases. The way it works is we offer. It costs about $2,500 to send an entire family who have been impacted, that has a child with a life-threatening disease, up to a place called Camp Sunshine in Casco, Maine. It's beautiful. It's almost like an amusement park, and basically what they do is they're one of the only retreats that cater to the entire family, as opposed to just the individual, because they feel that the entire family is impacted by something like that. And it's interesting the way they do it. They have different weeks for different diseases. So you go up there during a week where the people that are going to be there are suffering from the same type of disease. They have counseling. They have doctors on staff. They do volleyball with the Navy SEALs. I mean, it's really just a wonderful place. You could look it up. I invite everybody to come to the baseball fundraiser and be generous. There are some sponsorship opportunities as well. And then I'm going to steal a little Kathy's thunder, the supporter walk, which I won't speak too much about. I'm sure Kathy will bring us up to speed. Another great organization, great people, great cause. It deserves all our attention. With that, thank you.
Sergio is too modest about the Camp Sunshine. He's been spearheading that particular event up there for a number of years now. He does a hell of a job. And please, if you can donate to something like that, it goes a long way. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to turn it over to our Highway Superintendent, Dave Paganelli.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back also.
Is red your new color?
Red is my new color. So what we've been doing at Highway, I want to give a shout-out to Ann Anderson for being Employee of the Month.
Yep.
All right.
Thank everyone that was participatory
Yeah.
in making that happen. Thank you.
Go in.
She's the brains behind the brawn. No, there we go. But yes. So what I've been working on is Sidewalk Inventory. Last week we had the opportunity to work closely with our friends at Yorktown Central School District to create an additional 40 parking spots for the seniors that are allowed to bring their cars to school. And we were able to do that. They brushed out the areas. We came up with 150 yards of millings that we had saved money by taking them and storing them up on the hill, and we were able to use them for something good. So shout out to them. Can't wait to see how it's striped and it looks. Working, of course, on winter, and working, more importantly, on next year's paving. So we're not going to do a close-up of this because this is a highly guarded secret.
That's the list?
This is the list.
Uh-oh.
And it's done by area: northwest, east central, northeast, southwest, west central. So as you can see, everybody, when we lay out our paving, we have a lot of area in Yorktown, and everybody, as the Godfather said, has to wet their beak a little bit. So that being said, we're working on that, and we'll see where the prices are, and that's about it. Usual: trees, drainage, potholes, catch basins. Anything you have concern with, please give us a call, 914-962-5781, or you could text us. You could text us on Report a Concern on the town website. You can text me directly at dpaganelli@yorktownny.org. And it's very helpful for us if you can let us know where problems exist, that we don't have to hunt through Facebook to try to find them. Okay? I'm sure we're all familiar with that situation. So thank you, and have a great week. Thank you.
Dave, if I may add a thank you to you and your team. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you all remember, but probably six to 8 weeks ago, we voted to put up some veteran parking signs in addition to our Purple Heart signs. I know the first one is right outside, and the rest will be getting up at all of our town buildings and the library. So
yeah, I'll need a list from you exactly where you want them and mark them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a lot of feedback on that because we had 5 guys out there, and we were doing other signs that day. So some of them were on high traffic areas. We needed people for traffic, and it's like, how many people does it take to put up one sign? It's like, seriously, you know.
Safety is important.
Yes.
Get as many people as you can to make sure everyone's safe. But
thank you.
Thank you for that, and happy to say for our veterans, as a little thank you from the town, I see at least one veteran sitting back here with Jim.
Got another one right here.
Huh?
John's a veteran.
Oh, okay. And John, thank you, John. So thank you to our veterans, and I hope that you guys enjoy those parking spots and the use of them.
All right. And John, with that, we'll bring you to the podium for our Poet Laureate.
Yeah, speaking of the veterans, I had a procedure done in Putnam Hospital. And when you register, they say, were you in the service or anyone in your family? And we say yes. They put something on your wrist. And then every person, every nurse, everyone I came across said thank you for your service.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It
That's
was
great.
amazing, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
When I awoke this morning, I put my age behind me and thanked the deity for my life and surroundings. My wonderful, saintly, because she's married to me, wife, the indoor pets that enhance our life, the property that's big enough for deer, groundhog, and raccoons to roam, the friends who use Zoom technology to keep the communication going, and for the day to live, love, and write. As Barbara and I rubbed the sleep from our eyes, I reassured my team Silky Terry that all was well, and was greeted by the two cats who ruled various parts of the house. And supercharged by cold brew, another day was begun. A to-do list too long to fathom. Calls to be made, pets to be fed, books and articles to be read, email to be responded to, meals to be eaten, mess to be moved, shopping to be done, poems to be written. Ain't life wonderful?
Yes, life is wonderful. Thanks, Sean. And we'll call up our good friend Kathy Quinn, Executive Director of Support Connections, so we can hear about some upcoming events.
Thank you very much
Kathy.
for inviting me to come tonight. I'm very proud to say that as I hear all the wonderful things in Yorktown, I've been 39-year resident now, and I just get more excited when I see all these good things coming into town and being expanded, and I think you all should be proud at looking to move things forward. It's been a lot of great things going on. And I'm very, very happy to say Support Connection calls Yorktown home for almost 26 years. And what are we? What we do at Support Connection is we help people turn fear into hope. People dealing with breast, ovarian, and gynecological cancer, go maybe to a doctor's appointment just for a regular checkup and then hear those 3 words no one wants to hear: you have cancer. And what happens oftentimes, people are given the number of Support Connection, or they call a friend or a family member and say, call. But why call us? The reason to call Support Connection is that every one of my counselors have had cancer, so they get what people are concerned about. So for 26 years and thousands of people later, we have offered support, information, wellness programs, a whole variety of programs, and all free and confidential. Couldn't do it without the community support. And the first year we served, I think, 29 people. We opened in actually be September 10th will be our anniversary. Well, now we serve over 500 different people a year, and we have expanded nationwide years ago. I'm very proud also to say that we once again achieved a great not-for-profit award for the work that we have done. So we thank Yorktown, and of course we welcome everyone to come on. We're back in the park on October 2nd. We will be having our walk at FDR Park. It begins pre-walk activities at 9 a.m. The walk is at 10 a.m. But we also welcome people to walk wherever they are. If they can't come here, they could walk in any community nationwide. Everything you need to know about the walk, we invite teams. We still have some sponsor opportunities, individuals. Come and you will feel like you are with family. And I know all of you have been at the walk, so we hope you'll join us again. And if you just go to our website, supportconnection.org, it has all you need to know. And I'm also here to ask permission for us putting up on the poles along Commerce Street. We've done this now for several years. We put pink and the teal ribbon. If I could get approval, I would be grateful for that. And we will take them down before the festival. We know we got to get ready for another event. And I know whatever come, we'll get them down after the walk. So would that be okay?
Please.
Good.
Absolutely.
It's a tough decision to make there, Kathy. I think this is the toughest
like-
one of the night.
But I hope all your decisions are this easy. That would be great, right? I'm sure
That would be fantastic.
But I really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you. This town is an amazing town. Amazing.
It is.
I just was saying that to someone only the other day that people move around, they want to go different places, but this is a great town, a supportive town. Raised my family here. I have several grandkids now being raised here, and it's just a wonderful place. Thank you because of the people, the support I get here, and from the town and from the community, the businesses, the individuals. It is amazing that we have been able to help so many people, and thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you,
Kathy,
Kathy.
thank you.
Thanks,
Before you go, Kathy, real quick. Kathy, I just wanted to personally thank you for your help this year. We had a mutual friend, Jacqueline Davis Baker, and unfortunately, Jacqueline was re-diagnosed with cancer, and I was called to her house, and I know she was one of your ambassadors in years past, and I was called to her house because her family really live in different parts of the country, her two sons and her closest friends, and so a mutual friend of ours asked me to stop by to check on her, and she was not well, and you were one of the first people I called. I think you were actually after my mom. You were the first person I called, and it was like mobilizing an army. It was incredible what you did for her, and even though we lost that amazing person, what you did in such a fast amount of time, I'll never forget it.
Oh, thank you. And that really is my counselors. These people, I don't know that I could do what they do. They've been in the shoes, and yet they drop everything. And this is how they treat every person. And that was very kind of you. I cannot believe that she's gone, and I miss her. But she's done so much for, sickle cell and so many other things. But her memory will carry on, and her spirit, her good work will carry on. But thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for all the support.
It was
you
great
give
to
her family.
see firsthand just the compassion, the urgency, the response when you get thrown into a situation like that. And it was a rough one. It was a rough one, and not knowing who to turn to or who to call, you were right there. And I just will never forget it. And I really can't thank you enough for all you did for her.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very kind of you. And hope her family's doing good. But that
It was her
again,
birthday last week, so we all remembered her. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful person. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks for all you do, Kathy.
Beautiful.
Okay. So we'll go on now. Do we have a personnel resolution to appoint Joseph Powalski to the position of police officer in the Yorktown Police Department? Do we have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome, Joseph. We're excited to have you. Looking forward to seeing you here at town board meetings, helping us out, right, Greg? Officer Palladino. All right, and now we will open it up for courtesy of the floor. Let's, before we let people come to the mic, as a reminder, even though we were not meeting for the last 3 weeks, we were still working. If anyone has any issues, any concerns, any problems, they are, and you heard the highway superintendent, and I agree with him completely. We try to be everywhere, we try to see everything, we try to know everything. Sometimes we do often rely on our residents to tell us if there's things that need improvement, if there's new ideas, if they have questions. You can always contact us here at Town Hall. You can always contact the clerk's office. You can always contact my office at 914-962-5722, extension 200. You can always contact the highway superintendent directly over in his office. You can contact any of our departments. Everyone has their contact information listed on the town's website. It's not only their phone numbers, but their email addresses. You can also find the contact information for each member of the town board right online. And if you're on Yorktown families, I'm not even going to go there. But in all seriousness, we try to make ourselves as available as humanly possible. And so you don't need to wait for courtesy of the floor to bring a problem or a concern or a question to our attention. We are here to serve you. We mean that genuinely. If we don't know the answer, we will try like heck to find you the answer. And we do take our responsibilities very seriously. So, with that being said, courtesy of the floor is a 3-minute time limit. The clerk will have. Is that the clock now? Is it set on cuckoo? The clerk has a clock up here, so you know how much time you have. We ask that your comments be directed to the town board. We ask that your comments are respectful of our community, respectful of the service of our dais, as well as our employees. And so with that, we welcome you, and we welcome the first person to courtesy of the floor. And if you could just please introduce yourself for the record.
Mark Lieberman. I live on Wall Street. So I'd like to thank Kathy and Support Connection. My wife is a 20-year survivor of colon cancer, but was always caught up in Support Connection, and when I had my business, was always a contributor and a sponsor. And Jacqueline was a good friend of myself and a lot of people that I know, and we're having a Jacqueline Baker Davis walking team at the walk-a-thon. So if anybody wants to be part of that team, they're more than welcome.
That's great. Thank you.
The other thing is my wife was also a school bus driver for many years, and hardly a week went by when somebody didn't pass her when she was stopped picking up or dropping off kids. And she had to stop, sign out, and was never a good experience, especially since a lot of kids are allowed to walk across in front of the bus, and you expect people to respect that sign. The reason I was coming up, and I appreciate Supervisor your opening comments on the garbage contract, because I was going to ask about the status, and you covered a lot of it. But I wondered if you were talking to towns like Cortland that do their own collections and considering partnering with other towns. And I also, unless I misinterpreted it, looked like about 15% of our town taxes is garbage related. And if it's going to double, my question is how is that going to impact us tax-wise or fund balance-wise? Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Susan Siegel. Glad to see you all back after your August recess. Thank you for the fluoride update. I guess I'll wait 2 more weeks and then ask again, and hopefully the news will be positive. I'd also like an update on the ARPA money. I think when I asked, I don't know, two meetings ago, if I heard correctly, you were postponing that decision because of the garbage decision. I don't know if they're related, and if we're not going to use ARPA money to buy any trucks because we're not going for municipal collection, then maybe we should start discussing ARPA because we do have deadlines that you're aware of. So can you give us an update on that? And again, once the board discusses it, will there be an open discussion so the public can provide some input to that? On the garbage, again, thank you for giving us that update. Could you tell us, for those who do not read the bid specs, what changes you are including in this 4th bid? All right, so we have some idea of what you're doing. There's got to be some kind of change in service, I would assume. So kind of give us a hint as to, you know, the trade-off between paying more in taxes and getting possibly less in service. I have several questions about some resolutions that you can be voting on later. There's a resolution to set up a special fund balance for $200,000 to subsidize, and that's the word in the resolution, the pilot agreements for the solar farms. Can you explain more about what that is? Because I'm concerned about the work.
Not for those. Not for those.
Well, can you explain what that is? Why you have to set aside $200,000 for that? Because
it's not for the solar projects.
All right.
You're wrong.
Explain that. On the two pilot agreements for the solar, would you please tell us what the amounts are and how they're structured. If it's going to be a sliding scale for 25 years, you don't have to give us every 25 years, but just give us an indication. And it would be good going forward for future pilots if that amount of money or some indication could be included in the resolution, because I noticed that on the third pilot for the bus company, that was part of a deal with the Westchester IDA, that schedule is listed. All right. And also, I'm assuming that the two for the solar are just for the town and not for the school district. So could you just clarify, what that is? Also, could you give us more information about the resolution to pay Thompson and Bender $10,000 for a fall event? What fall event? When was this discussed at a board meeting? And I was thinking about all the other fall events. We've got the Grange, the San Gennaro. So you have all of those. And also the ethics report, not the ethics report, but the investigation that I have not heard back from you.
Thank you very much. It's always good to hear from you, Susan. Your time's up. Next.
Hi, good evening. James Mecca, 130 Columbia Court. First of all, happy 39th birthday, belated 39th birthday to Ed.
39 a couple of times, so.
And all our veterans
Times 2 plus 5.
Divided by 6.
I think I'm still older than you. All our veterans appreciate the sign you put out there. In fact, I parked there today.
Awesome.
But I'm really here today to discuss that next year marks the 70th anniversary of the end of the Korean conflict. As we know, most of these men are in their 80s and 90s. And what we're trying to do, a group of us is trying to do, is have New York State designate July 27th every year as the Korean Veterans Day, like they did for my group.
For Vietnam
The
veterans.
Vietnam vets, which I was invited to go to Albany, and they made every March 29th Vietnam Appreciation Day. I have a letter here that I believe I gave to all you, and it was written by Chester Edwards. And he is the executive director of the Westchester County Veterans Alliance. And basically what he says is the Korean War veterans were the forgotten veterans. They were the middle child. They came between World War II and Vietnam. There's an estimated 500,000 Korean War vets alive today, and 600 of those die every day. Chet wrote this letter August 2nd. That's 35 days ago, which means 21,000 have passed away since this letter was written. So what we're trying to do is have Albany invite the Korean War veterans up there with the help of every city, town, and county in New York State to go along with this, which I know Yorktown has always been great to all our veterans. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have all the veterans in Yorktown, the Korean War veterans. If you have any questions, to call the town board. They can call me or they can call Chet, and we will explain everything. And we need to get this done, and we get it done soon. So I appreciate your time and patience, and God bless
Thanks,
America.
Jim. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
God bless, Jim.
Anyone else for courtesy of the floor?
Good evening, Sarah Wilson, 31-year resident of Yorktown. You all know I'm an environmentalist. I recycle very conscientiously, and I utilize the food scrap drop-off over at Downing Park. Thank you, Mr. Marino, for all your service. And as a result, our family only has one small little bag of garbage every week to put out, of non-recyclable garbage that's not food, not recyclable. But I see residents and my neighbors with, multiple cans overflowing. The animals get into it it's a mess. On both pickup days, every week. So you did state that you're exploring all options, and so I'm wondering whether you've already considered or whether you would consider doing an analysis to see if we were able to expand the food scrap drop-off and get more of our residents to participate in that, how much that would reduce the volume and hopefully reduce the cost of, the garbage contract. And, is there a financial impact as a result of us doing that, or is it kind of a wash? I don't know. And then speaking briefly about the library, amazing programs there. Just want to plug one program, Sustainable Westchester and Yorktown 100 will be co-sponsoring a series of sessions on Thursday evenings beginning September 22nd for 3 consecutive Thursday evenings. You can learn about how to read your electric bill, which is so confusing. And then once you understand your electric bill, how you can actually reduce your costs and help support renewable energy as well. So that's September 22nd, the 29th, and October 6th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else for courtesy of the floor? Anybody else who would like to speak? Courtesy of the floor?
Motion to close courtesy of the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Comments?
Leave it to you. Well,
Sure.
actually, I will comment. Jim, any reason July 27th? Is that like the end of the Korean War, I believe? Right. Just so you know, I know that they do the big thing where they invite the Vietnam vets up to Albany. I don't think that Albany's in session in July.
Albany's not in session in July, but I'm sure we can. I think the first step is, and I really
Getting to
appreciate bringing it
recognize.
to us, is I think the town board should propose, and we can craft a resolution to go to our state legislators
To suggest.
To support.
to recommend and
Yeah.
support the legislation. I think that would be fantastic. That's the first step. Second step from there, once they pass it,
Find a day.
is working with the veterans groups so that we can have them recognized at,
Right.
at the state capitol.
Exactly.
Because they're only in session generally from January through June on and off days. So, but I think with the
Let's get the
boards,
first
I think
step
the
going.
first step is getting the resolution crafted, so we can work on that. That's no problem.
Good.
Phil, do you want to? Most of the questions we got were on garbage.
So talk trash to us, Phil.
You want to talk garbage? Trash talk?
Like the supervisor said, Matt, is we're looking at it as many ways as we can. We started in the beginning of the year to look and see how would it impact if we did the trash ourselves, and it just was equipment and how much it was just too overwhelming for us to take that on.
Can you even get equipment? You probably can't
You
even
can't get equipment.
You
Matter
can't
of
get
fact is when I first
2 years.
saw
2 years for garbage truck, right?
yeah, when I first saw the second bid, and the first thing I did was I called my old contacts from the sanitation department, and tried to see what's the price of these trucks and how long would it take me to get them. I would be lucky to get them in the fourth quarter of 2023. And the cost of these trucks now, which Yorktown purchased a truck just before I got hired.
Yeah.
I think it was only about, it was in the range of $240,000.
Yeah.
That same truck right now is $325,000. Anyway, so what we did was we tried this next bid that we're working on with. I know I'm driving Adam crazy with this, and Adam, I do appreciate all your help. We're looking at twice a week, once a week recycling, with condos, without condos, one-armed bandits.
No, the condos are the bins.
Oh, yeah, well,
bins.
that's, with the bins, that's something with the bins that we're taking away. We're looking at one-armed bandits. We're also looking at extending the length of the contract, because not only we reached out and talked to a number of contractors and asked what would make this more enticing, what would bring this number down a little bit. And one of the it was a couple of things that we adjusting in the bid for everybody to bid. But the one that stood out was extending the years. This way, if you're a contractor and you got to go out and buy 3 trucks for $900,000, maybe down the road, at least you know you have more than 2 years. So this is another thing that we looked at. So we also.
I'm sorry to cut you off. But you've been in touch with the county, the Solid Waste Commission.
I've been paying with the county with the solid waste, and we can move it to more than 2 years. not private people. Or if you're if a contractor is dealing with a private person, that can only be a 2-year contract. We're a municipality. We're under different rules, and Adam, which we already checked with him.
So we could do it.
We also eliminated the on-site supervisor that was supposed to be
Right.
provided by the carting company because
Right.
that was going to be another $100,000.
That would be $100,000. We're also cutting out a lot of the bins, the containers, and we're treating everybody evenly by doing that. That stuck with me as soon as I've got hired here, is that we're treating the homeowners the same as the condos.
Right.
You'd have to
Right,
provide
everybody
your
could
own
be the
bins.
same.
You'd have to provide your own bins.
They're
They're not provided
bins.
for you.
We're not going to provide them.
Right.
Okay, so I understand it's fair. I'm a homeowner. You're not buying me a can. You know what I mean? So it's got to be fair to everyone. Like I said, we're looking at it a lot of different ways. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll get the bids in, and then we'll have to sit down and bring it to you guys, and we'll have to make a decision. And Diane, I do want to help you out. Thank you for all the help that you've been to me. Any other questions?
Questions from you guys? I mean, I think bottom line was though when the third bid came back with the one garbage pickup, one recycling pickup, and we saw where the numbers landed. It wasn't apples to apples. So we're trying to do it in a way where you've got more of a menu option that we can compare apples to apples. That we can compare one-arm bandit, not one-arm bandits. Totes.
One-arm bandit,
with
which
the totes,
which the
without
contractor supplied in the totes. One-arm bandit with the homeowners. We're throwing out a smorgasbord out there, and then we will look and see. It also too is like when we put out the once-a-week collection. We got it back. I kind of knew that it really wasn't going to make a big impact, because if the contract was putting 5 trucks out on a Monday and he used to put out 4 trucks on a Thursday, that Monday wasn't putting. The Monday had to add trucks too because there was more material. So when we looked at, even had one person bid higher than when it was his 2-day. So that might not be worth the fight, but we're putting it out again, and believe me, we've been working on this since April. Okay, it's just that so.
Well, look, I mean, costs are up. You can't get material. You can't get trucks. You're not the first person I've heard that you can't. I mean, look, what our superintendent of the highway had to do, he had to actually fly out, right? Because he can't get cars. I mean, it's a common story that just keeps repeating itself, unfortunately, right now. And everything's up, even gas. And, yeah, of course, we all know that and we all feel that. But, no, I think, from my understanding, you guys are making it more of like a la carte menu kind of item, and then this way we could compare, like the supervisor's saying, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and pick and choose quite possibly what we want and don't want in order to bring the price down. It's a smart way to do it.
We're putting it out where every scenario possible to have your garbage serviced is going to be on this contract.
The
bid.
And Phil's 100% right. To get a truck today, you order it today, you're 2 years out. And Dave probably knows that from the big trucks.
Just ordered 2 trucks. Lucky if I get them by the end of 24.
Minimum of 2 years out.
Listen, I have trucks now that I ordered that a year and a half out. They can't even give me when Mike. These are only pickup trucks.
Yeah, and the problems with a lot of the new trucks is that they're ending up spending more time in the shop than they are actually on the road due to sensors that go bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on and on and on about that, but we're doing our best, folks, to keep the same level of service and not increase taxes.
Right. And to Mr. Lieberman's point or question, I just want to make sure that he understands this. So, and I'm sure he does, but there's a refuse district that the town operates. The refuse, so that speaking with our comptroller, there's a fund balance within the refuse district that just cannot cover the increase. And we cannot use general fund dollars and introduce them into the refuse district because it's a separate taxing entity. You're not allowed to do that. So we're working on working to the best of our ability to sharpen our pencils across the board and try to offset any increase that there might be on the refuse district in other places. And it's a very challenging budgetary cycle. There's no doubt about that. But you can't just to make sure I'm clear, you can't take general fund balance dollars and transfer them to the refuse district fund balance to cover the difference. That is not allowed.
There's been so many municipalities that have been doubled, 50%, 70% increase. The thing that we had a pretty good deal. Maybe people don't want to hear, but we had a pretty good price for 5 years.
Oh yeah.
And it never got increased. And usually, when you get a contract, you pay an X amount of dollars. The next year, you pay another percentage. For as things go up. This was one number. This is why it's shocking.
Right.
Because everything's getting piled on at the end.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Keep up the good work. All right.
Thanks, Phil.
On the ARPA side, Susan, we have not. We wanted to make sure that we had all the options on the table, so we really haven't re-engaged in that process. We're going to now, since I think we're obviously not able, we're not able to in-house this because of the cost of cost and timing of the equipment. It's just not a thing. So the committee's going to be meeting again, and we're going to re-engage in that process. On your question regarding pilots, the Hill Street pilot starts at $41,625 with a 2% escalation annually. The Foothill pilot is a $20,868 pilot, escalating 2% annually. Important to know for the residents, because these things are very wonky and complicated. The land itself continues to be taxed as an undeveloped parcel, period. So they still pay all their special district taxes, they still pay their school taxes, they still pay their town taxes on the vacant land. The pilot is for the actual structures themselves. Mm-hmm. It's wonky. It's Kim Penner, our assessor. She's become a master at this. But that's the reality. So the pilot is only for the structure, only for the solar system. So I think it's important to understand that. So really what you're seeing is an increase of $41,625 for Hill Street, and you're seeing an increase of $20,868 for Foothill. Now that, of course, the school district has approved separately the Foothill pilot and the Hill pilot, and so that's the process that the town is taking and has been advised to take by the assessor and by council as it relates to these solar projects. This is separate and aside, distinctly separate from the pilot agreement for a place like Bird Bus. Right. Because the Bird Bus pilot agreement is for the actual property itself. And the reason that we want to establish this a taxpayer protection fund is because, as we've learned in the past, when you introduce pilots on property, not solar pilots, when you introduce pilots on property like Bird Bus, I'm just going to use round numbers. If you have 100 parcels and $1 million levy, it's 100 million divided by 100. When you do a pilot, it's still $1 million levy divided by 99. And so that inflates the tax burden on the other 99 parcels because you're still dividing it by the $1 million levy. What we're doing here is for instances like that, because I don't think that it should be passed on to the taxpayers and the homeowners. And so what we're able to do is take, in this case, the back taxes that were owed to the town because we're obligated to pay school taxes, and Susan, you were supervisor, you know this, we're obligated to pay the county taxes, whether people pay us or not. So there were $200,000 in back taxes that the town already laid out that we recollected. And what we're going to do is use that to draw down to make up the difference when there are pilot agreements. So essentially, it's like you're not losing that one parcel because it's not going to be redistributed amongst all the property owners. So this allows the town to be pro-business, because if you talk to any business person, and I'm surrounded by 4 of them right now, if you talk to any business person, the cost of doing business in this state, in this region, in this county, is astronomical these days. So in order to attract businesses, you have to be able to provide some incentives, but you have to be able to find ways to provide incentives without passing that burden on to the local taxpayers. That's what we're able to accomplish. We're able to actually create a mechanism, I believe it's first in the county, that's pro-taxpayer and pro-business. That's what that is. And it's separate aside, distinctly different than the pilots for renewable systems
Which is
that are
solely on the actual
system, because we're not losing that parcel. That parcel's still a taxable
paying all
parcel
of its
according to the assessor's office, right? So it's very wonky. I feel like I'm teaching an economics class here and a civics class.
You're
but,
doing a really good job.
That's unfortunately the nuances of local government. And everyone says that I talk to and hear from, they want to see businesses in town. They want to see us thriving. They want to see us reinvesting and redeveloping dead pieces of property. And then you go talk to the businesses, and the businesses tell you, well, we can't do that unless we get some help financially because the cost is too extreme.
Yeah.
So you're between a rock and a hard place. And so this allows us to hopefully find a happy medium between the two, where we can work with businesses to try to provide some type of incentive, but also protect our taxpayers where it doesn't fall on their backs, because I don't think that's fair to them.
It's an excellent solution.
Let's see. So we talked about garbage, ARPA. I gave you the solar pilot amounts. Okay. I think that's it. Sergio, do you want to talk about the fall events proposal from Thompson and Bender?
Yeah. So basically, what we want to do. Can I introduce it?
You can do whatever you want.
So we're calling it Yorktown Has It All for Fall, and what we're doing is we're looking to promote all of the events and make Yorktown a destination for the fall. I will tell you, there's even a possibility of us having a haunted house come into the Heights area just for the month of fall of October. But that's still in the works. We're close, but that's still in the works. That has nothing to do with this this $10,000. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this money to promote the area and bring in outside people and promote our businesses and our town. And all of the events included, every event from the Grange Fair to the Fall Festival to our restaurants, our local restaurants.
So you're using it essentially to stretch our arms to reach out to local communities that partner or border Yorktown, so they understand what we're doing. Because the truth is, we go to the Katona Fire Department's fairs and whatnot, and we want to make sure that they know that we want them all and we want to welcome them all here. What we have here between our events, our parks, our trails, our waterways, I mean, it's epic. So to drive through Yorktown is a waste. We want to make sure that we are capitalizing on sharing with the near communities what's going on in Yorktown. We can't be destination Y unless people stop here.
Just the events themselves that are coming down the pipe. I mean, you've just in the next 2 weeks, and then you still have to tap. You can still tap into Harry Potter, which
correct.
They're nearly sold out of already.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to be in Yorktown for over the next 12 weeks.
Or as simple as our paint and sip at Sparkle Lake that Parks and Rec just put on their thing. Like, there's all these amazing local, simple ways to get together.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to pull it all together, bring it all into one, laser-focused campaign where people know what's going on, and Yorktown becomes the destination place that we keep talking about, and especially for fall. So there's all these events, and they're all kind of here and there and everywhere. This is going to pull them all together, and what we're going to do is we're going to present it with a united front.
Great. All right.
Sarah, I want to thank you for being an environmental steward. And
smiling.
I had a opportunity to visit where these food scraps go and how they're transformed. People are clamoring for the product. Probably the best topsoil you can get anywhere in the country at this point in time. So the food scraps are really working, and they're flying off the shelf, as we may say.
And I'll add, Sarah, that when I saw the numbers for the garbage contract, I was thinking about that only because if you ever go to Germany, they take it to a whole new level. So they have an area similar to the food drop-off, but they have 12 different sections in there, and you bring all of your waste, your household waste, yourself in your car, drop it off. It's separated. You have cans, you have plastic, you have foil, different levels of recyclable. You have food scraps, tires, you name it, electronics, and they're set up so instead of going around and picking up from everyone. They just go once, pick up from that site, and it's amazing. I just don't know if we would have quite the buy-in that we would need.
That's the issue, the
Right.
buy-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm really grateful you mentioned that, because you have me looking at my trash going, oh gosh. And we're not even going to my Amazon boxes, right, Matt? We're not talking about the Amazon boxes.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're not going to talk about that.
Not yet.
Yeah. If my husband's watching, he definitely does not want to talk about that.
No. All right. Any other comments? Otherwise, we can move on. All right. We're going to move on to resolutions. We've got a bunch of them, so we appreciate your patience. From the Finance Department, authorize the Comptroller to establish the following general fund balance to subsidize future pilot, which are payments in lieu of taxes agreements related to town taxes. And you see here a $200,000 transfer. Authorize the Comptroller to establish the following capital project for water cement relining and process the following budget transfers. We're going to authorize the Comptroller to process another budget transfer this is for the Thompson and Bender Fall Event Campaign from $10,000 for $10,000. We're going to authorize the Comptroller to process a budget transfer for the Highway Department. Anything you want to add on that, Highway Superintendent Paganelli?
I think we got it.
Okay. We're gonna, and you can see it's lined out here. Authorize the Comptroller to process a budget transfer for town buildings. This is for the boiler replacement at Town Hall, the Police Department, and the Cappellini Center from the bid we awarded last year. Authorize the Comptroller to process a budget transfer for the Police Department. This is for police vehicles for the purchase of 2 Ford Explorer police interceptors for next year. Authorize the Comptroller to process a budget transfer for the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for the trip booking. We're also going to authorize the Comptroller to release the erosion control bond for completed work at 1170 Bridgepoint Lane. So we're going to also request to advertise bid for the dewatered sludge removal and disposal for the Yorktown Heights Water Pollution Control Plant. I don't want to know what that is.
No.
No, you don't.
I'm joking.
I won't explain.
We're going to authorize the Hanover Electric to install electrical wiring for the new ventilation system at the Highway Department. We're also, from the Highway Department, going to award a bid for grinding brush and leaves for the Highway Department. That's going to be awarded to Westwood Organic Recycling. We're going to award a bid for the 3 Fisher plows and spreaders for the Highway Department. And that's going to be awarded to Hudson River Truck and Trailer. From the Parks Department, we're going to authorize a list of obsolete equipment to be auctioned by Absolute Auction for the Parks Department. Their equipment's listed there. We're going to authorize the Comptroller to process a budget transfer for the Parks and Rec Department. We're going to be transferring $7,500 for the Sparkle Lake Dam Phase A administrative compliance work. That was done by Weston and Sampson. We're going to amend the resolution passed by the Town Board on April 5th, 2022 for buses for the summer camp program and senior citizens travel trips. And the reason that we have to do this is because we took the minimum, not the maximum, as it states there, calculated at their maximum amount of $80,065 is the way it should have been, not their minimum bid of $26,005. So we're just amending that. From the Planning Department, authorizing Barton & LaJudas to perform an environmental review for Underhill Farms. We're also going to authorize Barton & LaJudas to perform an environmental review for Toll Brothers. Mm-hmm. From R&R, again, as we've discussed several times tonight, we're going to request to advertise bid for residential garbage and recyclable material collection and disposal to be returned Thursday, September 29th to the clerk's office. From the town attorney, why don't we stop there and we'll make a motion on those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On this next one, from the town attorney, we're going to authorize the supervisor to sign a quitclaim deed conveying to Edward Lachterman and Carol Lachterman any right, title, or interest the town may have for property located on Montrose Road in consideration for a payment of $1,500 subject to permissive referendum. So we'll take a motion on that.
A big no.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. We have an all in favor.
Aye.
And Diane, I think you already have my recusal in writing.
I do.
I recuse myself.
So we have one recusal.
My second.
And we have, you're good? We have a first and second. Okay. Authorize the supervisor to sign a quitclaim deed conveying to Peter Schmidt and Sandra Perez any right, title, and or interest the town may have for property located on Montrose Road in consideration for a payment of $1, subject to a permissive referendum. Take a motion.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm also recused on this as well.
Thank you. All right, continuing, we're going to approve a payment in lieu of taxes agreement for solar energy systems pursuant to the real property tax law 487 for property located at 1571 East Main Street, identified as SBL number 16.8-1-4, and East Main Street, and identified as SBL 16.8-1-17. We're also going to approve a payment in lieu of taxes agreement for solar energy systems pursuant to real property tax law 487, property located at 3849 Foothill Street. I'm sorry, just to go back on the last one, that's the one for Hill Street.
Yes.
Just to make sure. We call it Hill Street, but it's actually off of East Main. So this one is for the Foothill Street, 3849 Foothill Street, identified as SBL number 15.07-1-5. And we're going to approve a payment in lieu of taxes agreement for 3805 Crampon Road. This is the Bird Bus, tax map section 38.05, block 1, lots 21 and 22. We're also going to authorize to advertise a request for proposal for the operation of the Par 3 golf course. And we will approve a resolution to terminate RC Recreation LLC if it fails to be fully operational by November 15th, 2022. From the town clerk, we're going to authorize the town of Yorktown to enter into an agreement with Northwind Kennels, located at 402 Old Post Road, Bedford, New York, 10506, to provide care and shelter for homeless and stray dogs and cats. And from the water department, we're going to authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer for the water department. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We still have one more at a closed. Adam, did you send that resolution over?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. So, Adam, are they two separate, or are we doing one?
It's two separate.
All right. So, resolve that the comptroller is authorized to provide Jerry Permuto with appropriate back pay during his military service under Military Law 242.5. Secondly, resolve that the comptroller is authorized to provide Jerry Permuto with the appropriate pay differential during his military service under Military Law 245, Section 5.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any other business before? We also are going to accept reports, monthly reports from the Finance Department, Receiver of Taxes, and the Town Clerk. Make a motion.
So
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, if there's no other business, then we will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Good night, Yorktown.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.